Good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for being here this morning. Continues what's been a phenomenal week for us as a program. Again, we're so excited for the opportunity to represent the SWAC in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Once we won the SWAC championship, almost 2 weeks ago, and I was extended the invitation from John Grant. We've been fired up. Rattler Nation has been excited. We've probably taken over the city. So you've probably seen a lot of orange and green over the last couple of days, and that'll continue throughout the weekend. But, again, just a great opportunity for our football team to continue to do what they've done all year, and that's play great ball, play as a team, represent Florida A&M in a first-class manner, and just continue this dream season that we've been on. We set our goals pretty high this season when we came in. You heard from the players. We knew we were a talented team. We knew that we could do some great things here, and, we have a chance to make history. Winning our first Celebration Bowl and winning our first championship as members of the SWAC after being long-standing members of the MEAC. So it's a great game against a great quality opponent. Howard's a very good football team. They've done what they needed to do to get here, and I have the utmost respect for Coach Scott and the job that he's done. There at Howard, they have quality players. They have a quality coaching staff, and again, it's a great showcase of not only two great football programs, but two phenomenal academic institutions, and a chance to showcase everything that makes HBCUs and HBCU culture special. So again, we're excited about the opportunity, and I look forward to answering your questions this morning.
Open up for questions for Coach Simmons. Front.
Good morning, Coach. Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. Congratulations on what you guys have accomplished up to this point. When you look back on it, of getting here, and your guys mentioned it, your players mentioned it about getting by Jackson State. I think your defensive player said that was a key game for him. What was it from your standpoint in terms of what it took from your guys to get over the hump and get here?
Well, for us, this journey for us started way back in January. Really started back last November, once we were, in our opinion, snubbed from the FCS playoffs. And I've kind of challenged the team every year to, to control our own destiny, and never put ourselves in a position where we're, depending on someone else to assist us in accomplishing our goals. And so when we started the season, we knew right out the gate for the third year in a row, the Orange Blossom Classic was the first game. And the last 2 years, the winner of that game went on to win the conference and go undefeated. So we knew Jackson State was a good football team. Even though Coach Prime had left, T.C. Taylor was on that staff. He assembled a really good football team. And we genuinely felt that whoever came out of that game again would have the leg up in the conference race. And so our guys, just prepared to go and play a really good game, and they did that. Right out the gate, first open play of the game. 96-yard kickoff for a touchdown, and it really set the tone for what that game would be and really what this season would be. And again, we knew we were talented. We knew that we had a chance to be really good, but oftentimes it takes the application of it first to really let it come to fruition. And once Marcus took that opening kickoff back, it's almost like the skies opened up for us. So we really knew at that time, okay, this is a different field than years past. So again, this team has persevered through a lot this season. I'm really proud of how they handled all the adversities that have come their way. They've been attacked personally, as a team, as an institution, and they've just continued to just keep pressing on. And that's something that I'm proud of as a head coach, because we talk about overcoming adversity all the time. So I don't think there's a game per se. I know the guys talked about different games. But for us, it really was just a realization that, we're really the team of destiny this year, and we can put all these pieces together and we can have something pretty special.
Coach Simmons, Vaughn Wilson, Capital Outlook, HBCUGameday. Coach, some years ago, before you ever came to FAMU, we actually had a conversation, a long layover in the airport, and you had a dream of coming to FAMU and helping FAMU win championships. Have you thought about your journey from that day that we spoke till now that you're actually, have on the eve of the opportunity to fulfill that destiny?
Well, I think about where we've come from often. When I took the FAM job back in 2018, we knew we had some challenges ahead of us. The program had fallen on some tough times. 6 straight years of losing seasons, a 1-win season mixed in there, a 7-year losing streak to our in-state rival, and just morale was really low. You know, I'm married to a Rattler, a 2-time graduate, and although we were having relatively good success at other places, you know, during my time at Prairie View as a head coach, during my time at Alcorn State as offensive coordinator, you know, the Saturday afternoons, it was kind of a 75% celebration. You know, we were happy that we won, but she was down that FAMU had lost. And so just the opportunity to go home and turn that was something that we both were really, really passionate about. And so when we got there in 18, we just rolled our sleeves up and went to work, you know, and just built the program from, I don't want to say the ground up, because the history, the tradition, and all those things were already there. But you felt the low morale when we walked into the building. The players didn't really have an appreciation for the university. I still remember our very first team meeting. And the last thing I asked the team when we broke was if anyone could get up and sing the school alma mater, and nobody could. And so I knew right then, I said, yeah, these guys don't really have pride in Florida A&M. And I truly believe to be a great team, you have to have pride in the place that you call home, you know, so that you take care of your locker room, you take care of the building, you wear your shirts and your hats and all those things with pride. And you see Musa now, he ain't interviewing without that FAMU hat on, you know, and that's just the pride that he has in FAMU, and that's something that we really, really look forward to building. So of all the things we've accomplished, I'm most proud of that these guys genuinely love Florida A&M University. When they leave, you know, Marquise Bell, I mean, this guy's a second leading tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, and twice this year, after big Monday night games, by Wednesday he's in Tallahassee. I mean, Isaiah Land, they played over in Germany this year. The moment he got back in the States, he directed a flight to Tallahassee. Those guys come back to FAMU. Xavier Smith was FaceTiming after the SWAC championship game, you know, FaceTiming me and the players. I mean, they love FAMU, they love this program, and that's what I remember the most, just building a love for this place that transcends anything that we could ever imagine.
Hi, Coach. Takira George with ESPN's Anscape. What would winning the Celebration Bowl mean for you and your program?
Well, with me, we're champions. With me, we're national champions, undisputed. And that's been something that we've aspired to since we got here. You know, obviously 2019 is still a year that it's a little bit of a sore spot for me personally, because we did what we needed to do on the football field to be here. But because of a self-imposed ban, because of things that happened before we got there, we weren't able to come and represent, at that time, the MEAC in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. So there were some media outlets that still named us national champs. And, of course, like anything else, there was a lot of controversy around that decision. So, you know, a win this year will silence all the critics. There won't be any question. We've been, you know, number 2 most of the year, you know, behind North Carolina Central. Once they fell to Howard, we moved up to number 1. So we've been the number 1 team the last half of the season, with ranked number 5 in the FCS polls. So a win in this game would quiet any critics as to whether we're the true HBCU national champions. And that's really what I'm concerned about. For me personally, I don't think about what it would do for me personally. It's about this program. It's about these young men. It's about the 3 guys who just left the stage in their last game in orange and green, walking off as champions, and that's what we're committed to doing.
Next question.
Coach, Rick Garney from NBC here in town in Atlanta. You get a sense that your players have an understanding of what the atmosphere might be like tomorrow, playing in this stadium in a great college football city, national TV, and the vice president coming to the game, even though I know she's an alum of the other school. But just the atmosphere tomorrow, do you get a sense of what that might be like, and maybe what your players are looking forward to in this game?
Yeah, I think we've had the fortune this year of playing in 3, you know, NFL type stadiums. You know, we opened the season down in Miami Gardens at Hard Rock Stadium against Jackson State, and that's a game that we played the last 3 years. The next week we went down to Tampa to Raymond James Stadium. You know, so the first 2 games of the season were in NFL venues. Then obviously the last regular season game, the Florida Classic, is always in Campbell World Stadium, which is a major venue. So our guys won't be, I don't think they'll be shell-shocked when they walk out there and see, you know, 50+ thousand fans in the stands. The good thing is most of them will be wearing orange and green anyway, so that'll really give us a boost. But the maturity of this football team, you know, I think that, along with the fact that a large percentage of these guys came from Power 5 and Group of 5 programs. So Jeremy Moose is played in the SEC, and so he's played in front of 70,000, 80,000 fans. We have individuals from those places that have been in those larger venues. So I don't think the atmosphere will be something that gets our guys thrown off their kilter. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity. They'll do a walkthrough here in a little bit to kind of get a feel for the dome. This will be our first dome, and so that'll be a little bit different. But other than that, I think our guys are excited to start the season in the NFL Stadium and ultimately end the season in one as well.
Next question.
Stephen Gaither, HBCUGameday. Coach Simmons, real quick, just talk to me about, you've coached in both leagues. Obviously, the MEAC has kind of dominated this, and it seems like every year the physicality of the MEAC shows up against the SWAC program. How prepared do you feel like your guys are for that? And then I have a follow-up after that.
Well, football is a physical game, and so every week we prepare for a physical contest. Like these guys said, we stood toe-to-toe with South Florida. I don't think that there's a more physical team on our schedule than a Group of 5 team that's loaded with Power 5 transfers, and we didn't back down. It went right down to the wire. So we look forward to a physical game. I think that's one thing that, having had that unique experience in the MEAC for those years, that's always kind of been the narrative that, the MEAC's a physical league, the SWAC's the speed league. Well, we built our team to be both. We really committed ourselves to building ourselves up in the trenches. Our offensive line, our defensive line, that's where it starts for us on both sides of the ball. And so, yes, we know how it wants to run the football. Our defensive line is ready for that challenge. We know how it wants to load the box and stop the run. Our offensive line is ready for that challenge. And so we're prepared for a shoulder-to-shoulder, nose-to-nose, body blow fight. We're ready to chase them around the ring for 12 rounds if that's what it takes. So whatever we got to do to win the game, our guys are prepared to do that. And that's how we built this team through recruitment.
And lastly, you've actually had a chance to coach in the FCS playoffs and now here at the Celebration Bowl. Just talk about the difference for you guys as far as just the experience thus far before you step on the field.
Again, I've been a part of bowls as a player and as a coach. And so just a bowl experience is unique in and of itself. The FCS playoffs, it's a playoff format, but it's still like a normal game. You leave on Friday and you stay in the hotel and you play the next day. So you don't get a chance to do professional development. You don't get a chance to network. You don't get a chance to tour the College Football Hall of Fame and the World of Coke and all the great things that the Celebration Bowl has put together for these student athletes. So that's the difference. And I know there's a large contingency of fans that say HBCU should go to the playoffs and try to go win. Like FAMU did in 1978, a 1AA national championship. But this experience is so amazing for these student athletes. You really can't trade it for the world. The viewership, the opportunity to be on the national stage. I mean, this game has outdrawn the FCS national championship every year, and will continue to do so. And so, again, I'm a huge proponent of the Celebration Bowl. I'm excited about the opportunity to be here, and hopefully we can come here every year.
Next question.
Hi, Coach Simmons, Maya Ellison, NCAA.com. So, talking to you and knowing that one of the things that you say, especially about playing the game, is the hardest thing is keeping it together and being headstrong mentally for 60 minutes. What are some of the things that you've been teaching, the mantras, the mission statement that defines this season heading into the big day tomorrow?
Well, for us, like you said, it's just about continuing to prepare these guys mentally for what's needed to perform at the highest level, when it's time to do so. And that's not just football. That's life. That's in class. That's out in the community. That's in our personal lives. So it's really just creating those habits. Fundamentals is one of the 7 F's that we talk about. And so it's about developing great habits. And when times get hard, when adversity sets in, that's what we all fall back to. We all fall back to our habits. And so throughout the course of a 60-minute football game, there are a lot of ebbs and flows. There are a lot of momentum swings. There are a lot of adverse situations. And so when those moments come, you get a bad call or you get nicked up or bruised, you give up a big play, you got to fall back on your fundamentals and continue to stay steadfast in your belief that you prepare yourself to be good enough. And that's what we talk to our guys about all the time. And I think that's why you've seen this team perform at the level it has, not only on the football field, but in the classroom as well. You know, this group of young men will walk into the game tomorrow, you know, with close to 40 graduates. You know, we got 6 more that are graduating today. they're here, but they're technically graduating today, and that'll add to the 30 plus that we already have on this team. So just their commitment to excellence in the classroom. Our APR is the highest it's been since we've been here. So I think all those things kind of speak to that just prepare yourself mentally to be ready to perform at the highest level whenever you're called upon. And we don't always know in life when we'll be called upon. Guys don't know tomorrow when it's their time to make the play. You know, there'll be a key play to be made tomorrow, and we've worked hard for the last 2 weeks to prepare ourselves to make that key play when it's needed. And I think that as long as the guys continue to take that mindset, they'll continue to have tremendous success, not only on the field, but in life as well.
I think our next question is yep.
Congratulations, Coach Simmons. Tony Pearl with the Pearl Reports on 7:30 Game, ESPN Charlotte. My question for you is, the MEAC Conference, they play their last game November 18th. You guys play your SWAC championship the first weekend in December. Do you have a preference to have the long layoff, or do you like it 2 weeks in between? Do you have a preference, either or?
I have a preference to be here. We could have played the game yesterday if it meant that we're playing tomorrow. So I don't really, subscribe too much to that theory that gives a conference a competitive advantage because they have a longer layoff period. Again, I tell the team this all the time. If we were the only ones going through something, then I would give you an excuse. But everyone plays bowls. Like, bowl season is this time of year. So most teams' regular season ended the end of November. They didn't play in conference championships. Well, they got to play a bowl in December, in early January. So they've had long layoffs. You have some teams who played a conference championship game the same day we did, who's got to turn around and play a bowl game. Then they got to turn around and play a college football playoff. So we're not unique. We're not special in that aspect that we played a championship game 2 weeks ago and now we're playing a Celebration Bowl. How it's not unique that they played a month ago and they get to play again tomorrow. Which team prepares the best will be the one that wins. Point blank, period. It has nothing to do with the layoff. It has nothing to do with anything other than the preparation that it takes. You can prepare. The NCAA gives us typically 7 days to prepare. Well, we had 14. They had 28. So we got way more time to prepare than we normally would be. So whichever team utilizes that to the best of their advantage will be the one that probably comes out successful tomorrow. So, no, I don't have a preference as to which one we do. Again, there are 11 other teams in our conference that would love to be here. And they could care less when they played to get here. We're excited to be here, and I think Howard feels the same way.
Hey, Coach Simmons, Bill Roden, ESPN Landscape. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You mentioned a couple times, Coach Prime, and for the past couple of years, the SWAC particularly has been Coach Prime, and that spotlight. And I was wondering, going into this season, with that kind of thing removed and the path kind of open, what was your mindset going into the season? With that era of SWAC past, and now the spotlight on whoever it is who won. So what was it like then, and what's it just sort of been like going into the season?
Well, first off, I have a lot of goals I set for my life. One of the goals is that I'll be gone from a place for a year and they'll still be talking about me. Because we're talking about Coach Prime, he's been gone for a year. So I want to get to that place in life where my name continues to ring when I'm no longer there for good reasons. But no, we, again, I say that jokingly because, Prime and I are friends. We talk all the time. But, again, we didn't think anything about the past. We didn't think anything about, we knew that we had a really, really good football team that we were building and putting together. And so for us, it was, like I said, we had a motto a couple of years ago of leave no doubt. This year we switched it to our time. We finally said, look, guys, it's our time to show what we're truly made of. So let's prepare every single day to be able to show the world what Florida A&M football is capable of doing. And so, again, we worked extremely hard in the recruiting process to bring in quality student athletes. We worked hard to continue to go and, raise money for nutrition and resources and things of that nature that these guys need to be able to perform at the highest level. And we committed ourselves to getting it done every day in the classroom. Again, we had the best semester ever last spring. I mean, we went into the season with no academic eligibility issues, a year removed from having one of the most embarrassing days of our lives. And so all of those things culminated into us being here today. And so, again, we just felt that, hey, it's time for FAMU to be where we needed to be. We're thankful for the spotlight that has been placed on the SWAC in HBCU football, largely as a result of what Coach Prime was able to do at Jackson. But, again, we want to continue that narrative. We wanted to keep going. We don't want it to be a one-trick pony to where it's tied to one person. This thing is so much bigger than one individual. It's so much bigger than one school, right? I mean, as HBCUs, we're all in this thing together. So to continue to uplift our brand, to continue to uplift our conferences, we all have to put our best foot forward every single day. And that's something that I'm excited about. And the Cricket Celebration Bowl is a phenomenal opportunity to do that because it's a week of free advertising, for two of the best institutions in the world, regardless of HBCU or PWI. It's a highlight of two phenomenal conferences that have done more for minorities than anybody can imagine. And that has a history that's second to none, So, again, we're going to continue this wave that we're on, this momentum that we started a few years ago. And I think tomorrow's game will be the next in the long line of phenomenal events for our conference, for our institutions for years to come.
I think we have 2 questions left. Young, okay, Luke, young man.
Hey, Coach, can you have you talked to other coaches in the conference in the SWAC as to why the MEAC has a 6-1 advantage, and is that at all been a focus? Will you talk about that in terms of motivating your team?
No, I've never had that conversation with anyone, with any coach. One game doesn't define a conference. I mean, on middle of December, for 6 times out of 7, the team out of the MEAC was better than the team out of the SWAC. That's what happened. Many times in the game, the team from the SWAC came in as the favorite. The last 2 years, that was definitely the case. And they didn't get it done, So you look at, Coach Broadway, who was on it last night. I mean, Coach brought in some of the best teams in the history of HBCUs. And they ran through the MEAC, unscathed through the MEAC many of those years. My first 2 years, we were the only team to beat them. And they were able to come in and win the Celebration Bowl. So they were the best team in black college football. They were supposed to win the Celebration Bowl, right? The last 2 years, obviously, Jackson State was the favorite, and they didn't get it done. So, but it doesn't speak to which conference is stronger. I've been a part of both conferences. And I'm not going to get up here and talk about which is better. They're both phenomenal conferences. Both have phenomenal players, phenomenal coaches, phenomenal institutions, and that's why we do this, right? And so tomorrow's game, it's Dub SWAC. It's Howard versus FAMU. Whichever team is better tomorrow will win. On tomorrow doesn't mean that they're better throughout the season. On paper, we're the better team. We've got a better record. We got the higher rankings. We got the 2 conference players of the year. So on paper, we're the better team. That means nothing tomorrow if we don't go in and play the game that we're capable of playing. So, we have to talk up the narrative because that's what we do. We sell things by talking up a narrative. But, no, I don't think the MEAC coach is talking about, man, we beat the SWAC because of X, Y, and Z. Or there's no SWAC coaches. We're not huddling up in all season like, man, we got to figure out a way to beat the MEAC. The commissioner talks about it because it's a great sense of pride for him. And he's going to remind us as often as he can that the trophy needs to come back to the SWAC. And I understand that. But, at the end of the day, no, they're both phenomenal conferences, and I've been blessed to be members of both of them.
Last question, young man over here.
Hey, Coach, Lawrence with ESPN's Landscape. Earlier you talked about, the group this year is mature. And then you talked about having the 40-plus graduates on the team. So how important is this, not only the game, the 60 minutes tomorrow, but the entire experience this week for because obviously, you have certain guys, but time goes on and everybody can't stay at FAMU forever. So how important is the entire experience for those guys that are staying within the program for next year, but also in the recruiting process for guys that are coming to potentially replace those who are leaving as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously you got to continue to build the program. And, this season that we're having, the one thing about a place like FAMU is that we've set the bar pretty high. and Rattler Nation has no intention of going back, right? So we got to continue to perform at a high level. That means recruiting top caliber student athletes, and so this game is huge. There'll be millions of eyes on this game. Prospective student athletes will be watching. Parents, coaches, they want to see what type of brand, what brand of football FAMU plays. They want to see if they can envision their young man succeeding here. And so when they see Jeremy Musa, when they see Isaiah Major, Kendall Bowler, guys who have NFL draft grades, guys who've been invited to the HBCU Legacy Bowl and other All-Star games, Marcus Riley even, I think they'll be able to envision, like Isaiah Major said, to see Marquise Bell and the success that he's had, that helps in recruiting. Because unfortunately for us, and I'm sure Coach Howard can share the same sentiment, we spend a lot of our time in the recruitment process dispelling a lot of negative myths and connotations about HBCUs and what type of education you can get here, what type of opportunities are available for you here. And so we have to go into homes and change a lot of perspectives as to what we can do and what we can provide for the student athlete. And so tomorrow's game will be huge in pushing and driving that narrative that you can come to an HBCU and succeed as a student and go on and work in any Fortune 500 company that you could think of, that you can start your own business, that you can make an impact, that you can be a professional athlete, right? We have a ton of guys in the NFL from these conferences. And so I think tomorrow's game is going to be critical in continuing to push that narrative and drive it. And this week was amazing just because, again, not just about the guys that will be coming in or returning, but for the guys that are leaving. Because when you talk to NFL guys about opportunities in the NFL outside of playing and coaching, that's critical because a lot of these guys want to stay around the game, but it won't be playing in the NFL. But they can go be in player development. They can go in player personnel or operations or all those other fields that the NFL offers. And that's why I think this week was so important to expose these guys to all of these opportunities because that's what it's all about. It's not just about playing in the NFL, which most of them want to do. It's about being able to continue to be productive and go make a difference with what this experience provides for you.